Lamar's husband, back again for another historical pack opening here. This is one of the newest products from Historic Autographs Company. It's called the 1800's. These neat little boxes. In each of these boxes you get 4 3-card packs and 1 bonus 2-card Christmas pack. You can see that this one right here is already open because I wanted to test the packs, make sure they weren't too crazy noisy before we got started. As always, if you like this video, please go ahead and smash that like button. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And if you have a preference, go ahead and comment. Let us know what you want us to open next. A little bit about this particular product. It's basically saying that these feature important and interesting people of the 19th century. The set includes a short history of each person, authentic relics, signatures, and pieces that were actually touched by the person shown on the card. The autograph highlights include Thomas Nast, DeWitt Clinton, Oliver Wendell Holmes, and others. Also, there are Christmas optichrome cards, fabric relics, and document touched relics, which are pretty neat. So let's get into it. Alright, we're starting off with Philip Armour. Everything but the squeal is what it says. Not sure how many people that are watching grew up in the South, but Armour is pretty famous for various potted meats such as Vienna sausages. This is printed and run to only $2.99. It says that Philip Danforth Armour founded Armour and Company, revolutionized meat processing and distribution in the U.S., and played a pivotal role in making Chicago the meat packing capital of the world. I don't believe that the book Animal Farm was based off of Mr. Armour there. There were a lot more, much shadier people in that biz for sure. Oh, neat. That's a really cute looking Christmas card. It's Christmas to 1800's. Mrs. Santa Claus caring for elves, reindeer, and Santa. This one's only numbered to 50. It tells Mrs. Santa Claus was first referenced in literature in an 1849 short story, The Christmas Legend, by Philadelphia missionary James Reese. That's pretty neat. Yeah, I'd have never known the history of Mrs. Claus if it weren't for that. And here we have Henry C. Flagler, Standard Oil in Florida. This one's numbered to 99. It says that Mr. Flagler was a key figure in the growth of Standard Oil and the development of Florida as a tourist destination. He was the founder of Standard Oil alongside John D. Rockefeller. And then, of course, most people already know the monopoly story from there, where they made not just horizontal but also vertical purchases of every company relating to the oil business. That's really kind of led to most of the antitrust laws that we have today. Yeah, these packs tear much more quietly than the others that we've had on the show. Oh, there we go. Elizabeth Cady Stanton. Declaration of Sentiments. Elizabeth Cady Stanton is a fantastic writer. I highly recommend you read some of her other works, such as the Women's Bible. That's a really good one that she did. It says Elizabeth Cady Stanton was an activist, author, lecturer, and philosopher of the women's rights and suffrage movements. She was married to Henry Stanton, an abolitionist and lecturer. At the first Women's Rights Convention, Stanton read a Declaration of Sentiments, a rewritten Declaration of Independence that added, quote, woman or, quote, women to all instances of, quote, men, to come up with passages such as, check out a wiki article on that. That sounds like a pretty interesting legend. And last in that pack is Harriet Beecher Stowe, Uncle Tom's Cabin. This one's numbered to $2.99. Of course, Miss Stowe was an abolitionist and author. His anti-slavery novel Uncle Tom's Cabin, or Life Among the Lowly, captivated readers and critics with her storytelling. It's also a very, very good read if you get the chance. There's a legend of the West right there. Samuel Colt with his revolutionary revolver. This one's printed to $99. Samuel Colt was an inventor and industrialist who invented and patented the first practical revolver, quote, the impossible gun, unquote, that could shoot 5 or 6 times without reloading. Which, a lot of people don't really think about it today. But if you think about it in terms of that time period where a well-trained infantryman could reload and that 3-ring infield muzzleloader 3 times in 1 minute, whereas this could fire 5 or 6 times in 10 to 15 seconds. Definitely revolutionized warfare, not necessarily for the best. Henry Ford, the Model T. This one's printed to $99 also. Pretty sure we all know the story about how he pioneered the assembly line to create the Model T and actually made automobiles affordable. What the card does not mention is the failed venture in Brazil for Fordlandia. If you get a minute, that's a really fun rabbit hole to go down. But it was basically a copy of what Rockefeller and them were doing with Standard Oil, because the rubber trees were located in Brazil. So it's kind of an attempt to create a horizontal monopoly like Standard Oil did by buying the refineries. And Billy the Kid ironically killed 21 men and died at 21. This one's numbered to $2.99. His real name was William H. Bonney, alleged to have killed 21 men before he was killed at 21. Almost makes you think of the way Hank Hill's dad talks on King of the Hill. This one immediately made me smile, taking me back to my childhood. Laura Ingalls Wilder. And I grew up reading all of the Little House on the Prairie books. Those Little House on the Prairie, On the Banks of Plum Creek. There were just so many good books that she wrote about the journey westward that so many people took during that time period. This one's numbered 22 of 25. Says she was the author of the beloved Little House series of books based on her childhood experiences growing up on the American frontier when manifest destiny was the prevailing ideology. I definitely found them quite interesting and an easy read too. Also, I think they made a TV show based off of Little House on the Prairie. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see. Wild Bill Hickok, gunfighter, lawman, and gambler. This one's numbered to $2.99. A legendary gunfighter, lawman, and gambler in the Wild West. He began his career at 18, joining up with the Jayhawkers led by Jim Lane, operating in Kansas. Then when the Civil War broke out, he joined the Union Army, serving under Jim Lane again as a spy and scout. And after the war was over, he became a deputy marshal marshal and sheriff in various frontier towns, including Abilene and Hays City in Kansas. Definitely an interesting guy with an epic mustache. And John Jacob Astor, first millionaire, numbered to 299. I don't know why we celebrate these people anyway. He was the first American millionaire and multimillionaire, the wealthiest person in the world at the time of his death. The German son of a butcher went to London as a teenager, where he worked for an uncle's piano and flute manufacturer, learned English, and anglicized his name from Johann Jacob. At age 21, he immigrated to America and began trading in musical instruments, then furs. He purchased rawhides from Native Americans, tanned them, and sold them in London and elsewhere at great profit. At least he had to work hard for it. I'll give him that. And this will be the fun pack. This is the holiday bonus pack right here. We're going to start off the next box with the holiday pack. And there we go. We've got little snowflakes on there. And the next one is a frequent Jeopardy answer. James Fenimore Cooper, who wrote The Last of the Mohicans, was an American writer known for his leather-stocking tales, historical fiction set on the American frontier that follow Natty Bumppo, a frontier scout. Also included Last of the Mohicans, The Deer Slayer, The Pathfinder, The Pioneers, and The Prairie. This one's numbered 3464. And it looks like we're going to have the man, the myth, and the mustache up next. Got a Christmas version with trees all around Wild Bill Hickok. We won't go into details since we just talked about him, but this one's numbered 13 of 32. The trees almost look like the little trees air fresheners. Alright, on to box number 2. Oh no, here's a fascinating one. Jane Addams, the first woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize. This one's numbered 5 of 64. So she was an American social reformer and pacifist and co-founder of Hull House in Chicago, and a co-founder of the ACLU. Remarkable, remarkable woman. It says that she aided immigrants and provided essential services to the community. Adams and Starr developed 3 ethical principles for social settlements: to teach by example, to practice cooperation, and to practice social democracy, that is, egalitarian or democratic social relations across class lines. Wow. The world would be a much better place if we had more people alive today like Jane Addams. And on our trend of people we've already seen, we've got the Little Trees version of Elizabeth Cady Stanton. This one numbered 18 of 32. Here's a fun one. Washington Irving, Rip Van Winkle, and the Headless Horseman. This one's numbered to of all oil refined in the U.S. He drove the competition out of business with unethical and often illegal practices, including predatory pricing, strategic acquisitions, breaking contracts, making secret deals, etc., until 1878. That's the reason for antitrust laws today. And Walt Whitman, pioneer of free verse, numbered to 299, one of the most influential poets in American literature, broke with the conventions of the time using a free verse style and celebration of democracy, nature, and individuality. I find Whitman good. Thoreau gets a little bit almost too nature-y and isolationism, but I like Whitman. Here we have James Naismith, who invented basketball. Who would have thought that the guy who invented basketball looked like that dude? Number to 299. Says he invented it in 1891 as a way to keep his rowdy students and track athletes in shape during the winter. How about that? That's pretty neat. It says he used a soccer ball as the ball and peach baskets as the goals. Herman Melville, Call Me Ishmael. Good old Moby Dick. It's always an intimidating book on the shelf at school. Herman Melville was an American novelist, poet, and short story writer, best known for his ambitious masterpiece, Moby Dick, an epic novel that explores themes of obsession, fate, the nature of evil, and the human condition. But it is a lengthy one. Right on up there with Les Mis. And then we've got another Billy the Kid. This one's numbered to 99 on this Billy the Kid. Here's another Abner Doubleday, who did not invent baseball. This one's numbered 10 of 50. It's a little bit of a thicker cardstock too on this one. And the next card is Samuel Clemens, or Mark Twain, whatever he wants to go by today. It's numbered to 99. Samuel Langhorne Clemens, or Mark Twain, was one of America's greatest writers, renowned for the adventures of Tom Sawyer and Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which satirized societal norms of the time and captured the essence of American life in the 19th century. I can tell you that I thoroughly enjoyed those, as well as a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, which is, in my opinion, his greatest work. But opinions are like bubbles. Everyone's got one. Feel free to disagree. If you do, comment. And here we again have the Potted Meat King, Philip Armour. This one's to $2.99. That's actually still the name of the company that makes the finest sausages that you see in the store, Armour. Here we are in our last pick. What historical wonders await us here? Ooh, there's a thicker card in this one. financier John Pierpont Morgan financed railroads and industrial consolidations that formed General Electric, U.S. Steel, and International Harvester. Now you want to know something that all three of those companies, as well as J.P. Morgan Chase, have in common. They're all still around today. And J.P. Morgan died over 110 years ago. At the monopolistic U.S. Steel Corporation, Morgan pushed for efficiencies that forced workers to work for low wages and dangerous conditions while eliminating any competition they could work for. And in the Panic of 1893, Morgan suggested to Grover Cleveland, who was the president at the time, that the United States should sell 3.5 million ounces of gold to the British in the form of 30-year bonds, saving the American monetary system from collapsing. Well, sometimes the good does outweigh the bad. In 1895, Morgan partnered with the Drexel family of Philadelphia to form what would become J.P. Morgan and Company. In the Panic of 1907, Morgan organized a group of financiers to lend their own money to save the country. And at the time of his death, he was worth $80 million, which in 2024 terms is $2.5 billion. That's the thing about history. You look back on it, a lot of people tend to look at it through some very rose-colored glasses and tend to miss out on some of the bad things that happened. But when you look at the totality of a life lived, like J.P. Morgan, it sounds like he actually started doing some good for everyone. And that's what you have to strive for. Net positive, anyway. Here we have Elisha Gray's Otis. Okay, so I know that I'm not a normal person, okay? But I pay attention to the manufacturer of every elevator that I get on. And I would have to say that probably 80% of them still, when you walk onto the elevator, turn around and look as the door is closing. You look at the floor, right where the door is closing. It'll say Otis right there. Elisha Gray's Otis developed the safety elevator in 1853, which revolutionized vertical transportation and made skyscrapers practical. Imagine scaling the stairs of the Empire State Building. People have thighs for days. The safety elevator specifically stops automatically if the cable breaks, which definitely is a lot better than the alternative. Well, this is a pretty dang neat looking card for us to end on there. It says Al Capone and has a little piece of cloth right here, a soft piece of cloth. Feels almost like that. It's a napkin. That's pretty dang neat. Congratulations, you have received an HA, that stands for Historic Autographs, 2024, the 1800's Al Capone napkin relic. This is an authentic piece of the mobster's fine Madeira cutwork linen napkin used at his Palm Island, Florida home. As to be expected from an Italian mob figure of Capone's stature, a lot of his life revolved around entertaining his family, friends, and fellow mobsters. Who else might have used this napkin? Was it used to serve the final meal enjoyed by one of his victims? Al Capone is best known for his violence and ruthlessness in the elimination of his rivals. It says the production run of this is 196. But perhaps what I appreciate most about this particular relic card, and why I really, really like the Historic Autograph Company, most other card companies would just throw something random in here and call it a day. But they printed the picture of the napkin itself there on the back of the card, so you can really see where that came from. So that's pretty dang neat. about all this different history and whatnot from the 19th century. If you liked the video, please go ahead and smash that like button. If you didn't, comment down below why. Let us know why you didn't like it. Let us know what you want us to open next. And please subscribe. Until next time.